Welcome, everybody, to the most must-see AfterBuzz TV after show. That's right, we're talking Miz and Mrs. Episode 3, Certified Super Dad. We're going to be looking at Miz being a certified super dad and answering the age-old question. What's more important, Wrestlemania or the birth of your first child? Stick around and let's find out.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey. I was like, this may be a little embarrassing to admit. It's another song I've never heard before.
What? Don't worry, you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn.
We had this exact same issue happen on Raw. The first time I was on an after show, I had no idea the song we were getting picked.
I mean, oh my gosh, I just lost track of his name, but we pull out like a whole bunch of random songs on Raw.
I'm loving it. Yeah. I'm loving it. But welcome everybody to AfterBuzz TV Realities. Joining us once again for Miz and Mrs, the most must-see AfterBuzz TV after show. I'm your host, Michael Patterson, and alongside me are my two lovely co-hosts tonight.
Hey everybody, I'm back. Monique Loveless. Because I wasn't in the first two shows.
I know, I'm loving the energy.
I know, I'm just kind of like, that's not your voice. What's up,
I'm
y'all?
back. I want everybody to know I'm back.
She's back, y'all. What's up? My name is TK Trinidad. You can find me on everything at TK Trinidad.
Awesome. Yeah, it's nice to have a more full panel today. It was kind of lonely last week, just the two of us, but...
It was just y'all two?
No, I was on my birth season.
It was Anissa and I. It was Anissa and I.
Birth season.
My birth season was lit.
lit like this episode. Lit like this episode, am I right?
Yes.
But,
yes.
So with that being said, let's just get right on into it. This episode, we got to see a little more of the pregnancy side.
She got hair stuff going on over here. Like, you need to get it chopped off like Maryse has hers.
Negative.
No blonde, no short. Short blonde.
I do like that.
Yeah.
So we're taking away from... Just let him do his thing.
I was like, composed.
Sorry. We had like, hair flipping and everything over here. So
we'll... Composure. All right. Getting right on into it. So we got to see more of the pregnancy side, or the pregnancy side of Miz and Maryse's relationship. Them planning the birth of their baby. We got to see potentially the most lavish pregnancy craving ever, and Miz becoming the certified super dad, both literally and figuratively. So we'll get into that. But first, let's just go overall thoughts. TK, what did you think of this episode?
I like this episode better than the first episode. Obviously, I guess the first episode is more to establish who they are, just in case you don't know who they are from, the wrestling world. But I like this. It was just, more in depth, and you can kind of see why they're together. Like, Maryse is the one that kind of keeps it together. She has the plan. Miz is the one that kind of goes a little all over the place, but without her, he probably wouldn't be where he is right now. So
yeah,
could see it.
I definitely love their love. They make me love because you could tell how much he really loves her. Even in this episode, he just kept saying a happy wife, a happy life, and it's like he's not just saying that like, oh, I gotta have a happy wife. It's more like, I'm happy when she's happy, and I love doing for her. So I thought that was great for this episode.
It's true, because I'm not normally a person who, I guess, is into celebrity couples, but I mean, maybe it's just because they're both performers and I've watched them for so long, but I'm actually invested more and more as I watch this show into their relationship as them as people. But in terms more of the episode, I like this episode as well, but I feel like it wasn't as good as maybe last week's episode, the second one. I feel like there were certain parts, and we'll get into that more, that I think are becoming a little too driving the story, I guess, if that makes sense. Because early on in the episode, again, we look at the relationship with money between the two of them, where Maryse again likes the extravagant, meal in this episode. I think it was something like her meal was $600 and his was $45.
Yeah.
And I think he's being a little. I think he's. I think it was. I think he's being extreme. I think it was probably maybe like $50 or $60, and what he thought took to make it was $450 or something.
Right.
But I definitely think that there's a routine with the episodes. It's like, here's the problem. here's how they go through the problem. Now everything's great at the end. So I definitely see that formula. But, maybe they're trying to see, that works versus Total Bellas, which was kind of like a train wreck with a lot of stuff. So.
God, right. That's what I was saying. I'm like, it's just refreshing to kind of see it come from Nikki and John and then go into this and you see more of the love and how much they work together. So when you get that dynamic, it makes it a little more exciting, even though you do have the very positive, like, here's the problem, and it's not like, it's not like the drama problems that we get from a lot of realities, but it's like, hey, we have to work through this problem and go through the solution, and boom,
it's almost like a classic comedy formula. Like, that's what you do for sitcoms.
But The Miz is great entertainment, and I love Maryse because I'm bad and bougie. Everybody always say I'm bad and bougie. So I'm bad and bougie, and she is like so extravagant, and I always say she's so bad and bougie, and I love that about her because she's so unapologetic about it.
It's she works hard though.
She does. She does a lot.
I gotta give her props. She looks great. I mean, every single episode, like, you can never tell that the pregnancy is weighing on her, like, literally and figuratively. Like, I mean, she looks great in every single episode. So definitely respect to that. But digging a little bit more into that issue of the truffle pasta, is this potentially the most extravagant pregnancy craving we've ever seen? I don't think I've ever heard of somebody craving truffles before.
Truffle pasta is the bomb, though.
You've had truffles before?
Yeah, on the pasta. Yeah,
Did you figure out where she was at? I tried to look up the restaurant.
I know you can get it at Granville, I believe, has something to that effect. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't think theirs is as good though.
I love Granville's mac and cheese pasta.
The truffle pasta?
Yeah, they have it with mac and cheese with some truffles on it. Yeah. I don't think so. I think if you're, because at that time they were in LA, and the places, LA is known, if you don't know, LA is known for amazing restaurants.
Yeah.
So, what you would consider somewhere else where you're going to like a Shoeless Joe's or a TGIF's and you're paying $15 for a meal, you can pay $25, $30 for a meal, and it's, some people consider that extravagant, but you're actually getting really great food.
Right.
So I don't think, I just think it's just where she, in LA, and there's a particular restaurant, I'm guessing there's a particular restaurant that she likes to go to, and that mac and cheese is not just mac and cheese, it's with a little extra stuff. So
right. Speaking of extra things, hey AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There is no network that works harder to serve television fans, but we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button down below right now for this channel, and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, and we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us to be the ESPN of TV Talk. So yeah,
definitely thank you guys. Appreciate all of the support, all the comments we get on this show and on our other shows. I appreciate all the comments, even if we got some haters in the comments. I appreciate you.
Oh, do we have haters? Damn. I mean, Joseph's in the chat. Joseph's
definitely not a hater. He's the man. He's the man.
Joseph is in every WWE chat. I feel like
that's some dedication. Respect.
Yes.
Respect. We
definitely appreciate him.
Yeah.
Yes.
So getting back more into the show, so we progressed towards the second block of the show. We see a little more. We find out that Maryse, for her pregnancy, needs a C-section in order to have the baby, in a quite comedic way of presenting that, because the show is very funny, and it seemed to take a very serious turn here. But of course, they just have to throw the comedy in there with the dog drinking the water. Were you expecting such a powerful scene from this show? Because I still feel like it was very powerful with the comedy in it.
I mean, they could have went a little. They could have went a little bit further, but based off the show and what they're trying to do, it was just enough, because I think there are a lot of women who want to have natural births, even though it's painful and all the other things that, people don't talk about, because, they think that's what they're supposed to do. But based off of, in Maryse's case, because of what the back operation that she had previous, it's going to affect her. So I just think definitely something, because I'm pretty sure people in the chat knew that, but I didn't know that she had a C-section. So, it's definitely nice to see that, everything's not cookie cutter.
Right. That is a good thing that they did show that. I do agree they didn't go as deep as they probably could have gone, because, these are the type of topics that you discuss because, other women are going through it. And since you have a platform, you want to be able to express that you're going through it too. But to add the little comedy in there, I think it made it a little bit lighter. So I think with the Miz, he needs everything to be kind of light though, because he's just that type of person. Like, even if it's something very, very serious, it's like he has to put some type of funniness on it, because for him it just can't be too serious. Yeah.
Well, I think too, it seems like their mantra or their motto is like, how serious can they take certain things? Meaning that, okay, she has to have C-section. Well, they have money in order to afford that. So it's all these little elements that, it's serious, but it's not that serious. Like, nobody's going to die. Yeah. No money's being lost. The family's still okay. So it seems like the Miz in particular, he kind of follows that mantra, like, okay, everything's kind of cool. So we can talk about this, but we can move on because we're good.
Right.
Do you think it would have been presented differently if this was maybe Total Divas, for example?
If it was Daniel Bryan and Brie, no. If it was, we're not even going to talk about Nikki.
I think it was Daniel Bryan and Brie, because Brie seems like the type that she wanted to have, because I believe she had a water birth. I can't remember.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think so. Yeah, she did, because they showed it. She did have a water birth. They showed all of that.
Yeah. So I think if for Brie, it might have been taken a little bit seriously because she really wanted like something like a water birth, and that you take away the image of like for instance, the woman wanted a wedding this particular way, and she changed, and it changes because of whatever, then you discuss that. But yeah, I don't think it'd be anything crazy. It'd just be a topic to have.
Plus, I still believe Maryse is the type who would have got like medicine to be like, I'm not going.
Yeah, because she seemed to be pretty nervous in that scene when they were talking about it, and it almost kind of I think that's what kind of made it really more serious for me, because again, obviously I don't have any experience with pregnancy. It seems like that was something she really wasn't expecting.
Right.
And it just kind of hit her like a ton of bricks. So
probably what they didn't discuss is the fact that they're literally cutting you open. Like this was in the article that Beyonce was it Vogue or something? Like they're literally cutting you open. They're moving organs out. They might move the organs out of your body. Like there's all this stuff that again people don't talk about. And then the possibility of blood clots after the fact. And so it's all that other stuff that they probably cut out. That now you get her after the fact is like, oh, okay, you're just thinking a C-section, because when people who don't know about it, they think, okay, they just cut you open, they pull out the baby, are good. Not quite.
Yeah.
So they probably presented all the other aspects and
that go along with it. Yeah.
So
yeah. Plus you have healing time and stuff like that. My sister has basically, I call her my sister. Everybody knows I'm the only child, but I call her my sister. She had 3 C-sections, and the after, like, it's basically surgery. So you have the healing up part, and he may not be there for that part. So she has to go through all that with a baby and make sure that everything is healing right and everything. So that's a part of it too, is the after effect.
Well, and speaking of being there too, one of the big parts of this whole conversation is Miz. He says in the episode, I think he's there for about 99% of the moments before the pregnancy, and we see that. Obviously, we know now after the fact that it wasn't a conflict, but he might have had to potentially miss Wrestlemania for the birth of his child. And I kind of wish that they would have gone into it a little more. This kind of, I don't necessarily know if there was an argument, because I think since they're both professional wrestlers, they realize how important Wrestlemania is. But If Mike were to miss the birth of his child, do you think Maryse would have really been okay with that for WrestleMania, or was she just putting on that front?
Well, he talked about it in Total Divas. And that when they found out, I think she was pregnant, and the kind of the due date, that was the first thing he said. It's around WrestleMania. Yeah. And then he was asking if he could be changed and all this other stuff. So I don't know.
He did.
Yeah. I don't know if he would miss the birth, but I think Maryse, also being in the business, knows that you can't miss these opportunities.
Right.
Like, you know, everybody's replaceable, no matter where you are as far as the landscape of things in WWE or any other major company. So I think it would be upsetting, but I think she'd be upset about it, but I think she'll also kind of understand after the fact. And I think the same thing with Miz. Like, it would be upsetting, but, you know.
Yeah, I feel like Maryse is very a businesswoman herself, so she would totally, like, of course you're going to be emotional at that time if he did, you know, if that was the case.
Yeah,
and he,
of course.
You know, he was to miss it. But all in all, I think because she is such a businesswoman, she would understand, too.
Yeah.
She knows. Like you said, she knows how important those opportunities are during, you know, you're replaceable in any job. Seriously. They'll replace you in 5.5 seconds. So if you, so they need that coin. So and
I think there's a storyline built around him for WrestleMania too.
Yeah, because I was going to say is he was the champion going into WrestleMania. That was a triple threat. It wasn't something where
like a big deal.
Yeah. It wasn't like the kind of thing where they could just write him out for the story, because everyone knew that that they were expecting the baby around WrestleMania. And so that's the kind of question that I had is, do you think that the writers maybe had a plan in case he were to change his mind last minute? Do you think that WWE maybe would have been able to change that?
Perfect you say that, because according to Joseph,
we're reading it.
Yeah.
My man.
He said Mike told SportsCenter that he had a jet on standby during Mania week, so it was a difficult decision. But I think on top of that too, we just didn't know how long she was going to be in labor. Like, say she did have the baby, she could have been in labor for 18 hours.
Oh yeah,
right.
And you know, he could have made it. She could have been in labor for 5 minutes. But I think as long as he made the attempt to get there by any means necessary, it would have been understood.
Okay, yeah, because she was understandable even about the photo shoot when they did the photo shoot. So that was something like, she's like, you know, you're not driving the plane. It's okay. I understand. Like, so there's moments, I probably think that she fights. There's moments like, yes, I really want you to be here. And then there's moments like, but you got to do what you have to do too. So.
Yeah.
Well, it also helps that he seems to be a pretty stand-up guy in all of this.
Yeah.
You know, and we talked about this in the first episode, was that how the guy is extremely busy, but yet still manages to go to all of these things. And that's definitely respectable. And having Maryse being a past performer definitely helps with that.
And probably he doesn't do as many live shows too. So instead, it's because usually people who do the live shows, they might have two days off. So he might have three days off, maybe 4 days off. So I'm sure WWE accounted for that and allowed him to kind of get away with a little bit more because of where he is in the company. Like, he paid
very
his dues.
tenured.
So, you know, I think he's not gone as much as other folks who are kind of starting. So that kind of makes a difference too.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the whole pregnancy thing, at least for me, this is just my speculation here, it almost seemed like that might have played into what eventually happened at WrestleMania, because he dropped the title to Seth Rollins, and it almost seems too convenient for those two things to not be related.
Oh, well, of course.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. And then they broke them up, and the BT. Like, I think they definitely account for that, but that's how you know you are valued in the company, where, you know, they kind of account for that he's probably going to want to spend a little bit more time with his daughter. He's been dedicated to the company, so they're kind of going to give him that bone. Because guarantee if he were the champion, you probably have to do a little bit more, like, live shows. So, you know, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm surprised how much he's working now anyway. I mean, because he's in, week out for one of the top feuds of SmackDown Live right now.
Yeah.
So definitely respect to him. But we're going to move on now. More towards the end of the episode, we're looking at, I guess, Mrs. dedication to planning this pregnancy. And we get to see, in probably one of my favorite moments, I don't know about you guys, of this episode, Marjo and Maryse attending the infant CPR class. And I've said this before in the previous episodes, like, Marjo is proving to be one of my favorite characters on this season, but of course she just has to be the funniest person, the letdown in this kind of moment.
Yeah.
But it seems, what was interesting to me most about this was that, did the host, or not the host, the lifeguard instructor, did he seem kind of rude to you guys?
No, he's doing his job. If they said you need to be here at 10 a.m.
Right.
Like, I don't care who you are, because this is not something where this is your child's life.
Yeah.
right? So say hypothetically they come late and there's a part of it that they missed that could have saved their child. I mean, not necessarily they can come back and sue him, but I think he definitely feels like anything that has to do with saving people's life, you feel like you're part of this, so you have to instill this. So if you let somebody else slide, then it's become something normal for you. Right. So I think it's more like not the concern, but the realization that this is something important for your child.
Right. Like, I think I do agree with that. I think he was just annoyed because they wasn't taking it as seriously because, sometimes you don't think like, oh, it's just this little class. Like when she walked in, she was like, oh, I didn't know it was school. So it's kind of like
with cameras, with makeup on, like the whole.
And mom is going to sleep and she was snoring loud too. She was snoring pretty loud too. But all of this, and it's like, but you're coming here for a reason, and this could really save your child's life. So if you're not going to take it seriously, like, either I'm going to snap you in a place while you're here, or you can leave. Yeah. So I don't think that he was real. I think that he was really like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
I can understand that on both sides, though. I mean, because, like, my day job's a lifeguard, so I've sat through so many CPR classes. Like, that stuff is boring. Like, it's necessary, but it's so boring.
Yeah, but what you, like, because CPR classes...
It takes hours.
They try to change it a little bit, but, the first time around, I guarantee they probably didn't have, like, what they have for the baby is probably a little bit more than what you usually take in, like, a CPR class.
Yeah.
So there's in addition to. So if it's like,
it is.
Your second or third time around, or if it's like an advancement of some class that you don't necessarily have to take, but you're taking because, I kind of get it. But this is something where it's,
Yeah, this is not an all the time thing though. This is like you're trying to equip yourself to maybe have to save your baby's life.
Yeah.
So to take a class or some, like, that shouldn't be a hard thing
that you should
to
remember
do.
for at least 3 years.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Well, especially living in California or in Texas where it's hot, where there's lots of pools, definitely knowing that kind of stuff. But so as we saw, Miz missed that first class, but we see him eventually make that up in the end, which, again, one of my favorite parts of this whole episode. Did he really have to be in his ring gear for the CPR class?
Well, I mean, say if it was a quick, like, I've done stuff where you literally have that amount of time.
Yeah.
And to take off your ring gear and put your clothing on and do this other stuff, he might not have. I think it was done for the cameras, but who knows? He might not have had that time. Maybe like after that he had to fly somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you just never know. And the fact that they got it there.
You have on your little booty shorts.
Well, that was just pure laziness. I really just didn't want. I didn't want to put on anything else. So I was like, I just throw on. Thank you for letting everybody know. I just threw on some heels to make it look like I'm not that lazy.
I felt like that segue into that. Like, I understand because that's what I'm wearing.
Just some days you don't want to. You have some pajamas. You throw on a cute top and put some makeup on and some cute flip flops. Like, you're good to go. You can go to the grocery store.
Well, she got on some shorts today, guys, that was like Miz while he was doing his CPR class.
Oh, well, I mean, whatever.
We're all relatable. It's relatable. Everybody can relate. Am I right?
I'll send a picture to Trinity so she can hook me up with one of her people.
Right.
But so that was pretty much
the best time to do that.
I was like, you guys are hilarious. I can't. But
he's gonna be like, Kevin, can you? These two girls, they need to be separated. They're talking about booty shorts and hair stuff.
Right.
Okay.
But so getting back to the episode, that was pretty much the bulk of this episode. There wasn't like, because what I think this episode was different than opposed to the second one is that the second one there was kind of an arc told throughout the whole thing. It was the cake and the party of it all coming together, and this one didn't really have that. It was kind of episodic in a way, but overall I think the episode was pretty good. And so now one of the best parts I think of this show is that it has exposed me more to their social media of the both of them. And the Miz has been putting out some great content with his daughter. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that, but if we could get those videos pulled up right now, as you can see right here, we've got 2 videos of the Miz and his daughter, and we're gonna take a look at those. And if you've seen them before, I apologize, but they're great.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're not getting any audio.
Well,
we're getting a lot of reaction now.
You can just go on his social media.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, if you want to go see those, definitely go check out the Miz's Instagram account. He gets both of those. He basically cuts a promo like he's doing Miz TV, but it's with his daughter. And it's funny because his daughter actually like talks back in a way.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely hilarious. And I mean, look at her. She's just isn't she just the cutest thing you've ever seen?
Well, he's been cutting promos before she was even born about her.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, I'm kind of conflicted. I don't know if I like the fact that he's including her in it, or if he should keep her private.
Yeah, because I think we talked about this a little bit in the first episode too. Is that, I mean, for me, as a wrestling fan, I love seeing this kind of stuff because it blurs the lines between reality and what you see on WWE TV.
Right,
with the
it kind of
script.
humbles him. It kind of humbles him a little because he's a character. He's a huge,
but he's still a character when he cuts.
I know, but you have your daughter in your hand. Like more so, people are gonna be like, "Oh, this is so cute." Like, you know what I'm saying? It kind of gives that family humbleness feel.
I wouldn't say humble, but I don't know. You're just seeing a different angle, a different side of him. But again, like I just don't. I'm really just conflicted because we had Trinity in along with John, and one of the reasons they'd actually decide to take the kids off the show because people were recognizing the kids. So it's just kind of like one of those things where, you know, they might see, obviously the baby's not going to be out by herself anytime soon, but because you watch the show, you as a fan or you as a viewer might actually go up to the baby thinking that you know these people, which happens.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
So, you know, it's just kind of one of those things where, again, I just don't know. I've seen it on both sides where people completely, you know, you have no
Not
idea.
have them in the limelight.
Not have them in the limelight. And, you know, those kids are well adjusted. And you see kids who are in the limelight and they're well adjusted. So
Right.
I don't know. It's just a
I think it's
thing.
a learning thing. I think this is their first child, so I feel like it's such a learning thing that you're so excited about something that you just want to show it to the whole world. I feel like depending on how they have reactions, then they'll either continue to put her out there or they'll take it. Kind of start taking her.
To me, it feels like, because I agree with your point, you don't want to overexpose them to the point where everyone's coming up to them and recognizing them, because that kind of harassment's not fun even for an adult. But I think at this age right now, since she's an infant, she's not a sentient person who's going around and going out and having a personality. To me, it kind of seems that it's not that big of a deal right now. But I agree with you, because Randy Orton's family is a lot
private.
Yeah, completely private. You very rarely see things of him. I mean, and he's got kids that are older. I don't know their exact ages, but they're definitely not like little anymore. And so I think we'll start to see less of her as she gets older. But for right now, she's definitely involved in the storyline. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that him being in the reality show plays a part into WWE programming. So it'll be interesting to see if she's still being in there once this angle with Daniel Bryan and the show is over.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Well, I mean, we'll see with everybody, because everybody's, even if you're not a celebrity, that people are putting their kids up in social media. So, I mean, we're gonna see what happens to that generation of kids that have literally been in the limelight since before they were born, which they know their angles before they're even 2.
Right.
So it's just kind of like, we're gonna see what's gonna happen in the next, 15, 20 years.
I know she's got more Instagram followers than I do, and she's like 2 months old.
So we'll see. I hope it's gonna be way better than worse, because if these kids are brats, it's a wrap. I'm leaving.
It's different, but I guess we getting kind of older.
We'll find out.
But we'll definitely see. So more of that. Like we talked about, the Miz is in a high-profile feud with Daniel Bryan right now, and that kind of transitions into our news right now, which Monique is going to talk about.
Yes, so our news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
There we go.
So I know everybody in the WWE, all the WWE fans are excited because SummerSlam is coming. And yesterday we saw Daniel Bryan ambush The Miz during his promo. And started kind of there. So we're starting there to kind of see their feud that's going to happen, which SummerSlam is coming up on August the 19th, and it'll start at 7 p.m. on pay-per-view. Pay-per-view, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And the WWE Network.
Network.
Okay, in the WWE Network, yeah. Thank you for supporting me, guys. And with a pregame kickoff at 6 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys are tuning in because it's official. The Miz and Daniel Bryan, which I've been waiting for, will now come head to head in the ring.
Yeah, I feel like they haven't used the wives too much in this, which I think they should.
I would kind of like that.
Yeah, because we saw Maryse a little bit, but it was only for that one segment with the fake baby.
And even Brie, we haven't really seen as far as I mean, she's able to. So I don't know, why they haven't included the wives, because that would be interesting. But,
yeah, that would.
Yeah,
that would be really interesting, honestly.
Like even social media wise, where they're cutting promos. So
do they like each other now? Remember, they had that rift.
No, they still, since that whole thing with. Maryse doesn't really like them because of the whole contract thing. So they're now cordial, but they're not friends. If you look back on episode 2 for the baby shower, like, you didn't see. Actually,
when they on the show, they just came up and rubbed her belly.
Yeah,
and
we
was
saw
like,
them interact.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if they were still had that deep beef, but even though I think it's cool that they're beefing outside of the ring, and if they had that inside,
I mean, you can always beef on whose baby's cuter.
That is true. There we go. That's the feud that needs to happen. The online feud.
No, that does not need to happen. Do not put people's kids against each other to say who's cuter. They're all cute.
Yeah, but come on. If it's your kid, you're not going to think your kid's cuter?
I'm going to think my kid is cuter than everybody's, but I'm not going to have a feud with anybody.
Think of the drama.
It's not the feud. It's just stating a fact. Like, my kid was first, so.
Don't include none of their kids. They're both cute babies. They're both cute little girls.
And they're going to both be wrestlers, and they're going to fight in 20 years from now. Who knows?
Boy. But knowing their angles too.
Yeah, they definitely going to know. No, Birdie already knows her angles.
It's so crazy, these kids. They can turn on the phone and take a picture with their angle.
Right.
Less than a shot.
Right. So yeah, get geared up for August the 19th.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be watching that. I hope you guys all are too. We'll have an after show for that, so stick around. But we're almost at the end of our after show, so real quick, next week's episode is titled Proud Pops. What do we? Let's make some predictions. What do we think is what's going to be?
And now, your AfterBuzz
there we go.
TV.
What do we think is going to be the theme of next episode?
I want to see more of Mrs. Dad.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I feel like he's a character. His mom doesn't really seem to care too much about the show.
Yeah.
But his dad seems interesting, so I hope to see more of him next week. I didn't see any promos for next week, but I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get the same formula. It's gonna be something that happens, or something that he does wrong, or their move to Texas, one of the things. And we're gonna see some funny bits where we can laugh at, say, "Oh, Miz, you crazy," and then and then you tie a bow on there. They're still happy, the baby's still alive, like good.
Typical.
Yeah.
Monique, what about you?
I would love to see, even though this is like a pop situation, I would love to see more of Marjo.
Definitely.
She's hilarious. So I would love to see more of her. For next week's episode, I mean, I guess we'll have to see. Because his pops he was just like, even when the cake happened, I don't know. So if he comes in the picture and he's teaching him how to be a dad.
Yeah. Well,
he was just cheap. It's not.
He is super cheap, though. He's so cheap to the point where it's like,
true,
listen, that is
I'll
not
pay
going to
for your
save
Uber.
any
Like
money.
you'll get here.
But
right.
no, so I actually did see a preview of next week, and it shows him with a couple people trying to figure out how he can jerry-rig a GoPro camera onto his chest so that he can secretly film the birth, and there's those shenanigans there. So I'm assuming that's what the Proud Pops means, but we might be able to see more of Daddy Miz too.
So
I hope so.
Maryse say no to a camera? Like why? I feel like you can carry your phone in there.
I don't know. He seemed to be hiding it, but we'll definitely take a look at that. Be sure to watch next week's episode, and right after that, come watch our after show at the same time. But that's all we got for this week, guys. Be sure to tune in next week. This Wednesday time slot is going to be our permanent time slot for the rest of the season. So Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific, AfterBuzz TV Realities. You can check that out. For now, my panelists, where can we find you on social media, and what are you working on?
You can find me everywhere at Miss Mo Loveless, and that's MS Mo Loveless. Also, make sure you check out all your style tips and tricks on my website at MoniqueLoveless.com, and on Mondays at 8 p.m. for Shades of Blue.
Ooh.
There we go.
Excuse me. You can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. That's pretty much it. You want to see what I'm doing? It's all there.
What? That's how you doing?
At TK Trinidad. Yeah.
And once again, I'm Michael Patterson. You can find me on Twitter at MikePatNews, MikePattnews. I talk a lot about wrestling. Plus, I'm now on the Castaways after show on ABC, which is a great show. It's kind of like Survivor Naked and Afraid is a crossover, but it's great. Definitely check it out. But for now, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.